So I haven't recorded in like 2 or 3 weeks because I just like kept thinking of ideas and then I would go to do them and I would be like, this sucks. But now I have one that I can't escape. I bought a ton of contacts. And when I say a ton of contacts, I mean, I think I bought 10 all at the same time of colored contacts. So I'm going to at least periodically be doing contact reviews. Some will be with cosplay, some will just be with makeup. And today it's just gonna be one with makeup. I think if I just did a contact review, that would be a little bit boring. So we're gonna talk about my favorite fanfiction tropes while we do our makeup for the contact review, which is a lot, I know. Deal. Before we start all this, I have to put my hair up. It's so long. It's so hot in my apartment. I'm getting really exhausted by how long my hair is, but I can't cut it until all of this is grown out to like here, because this will look absolutely insane on me if I cut all of my hair to that length. So I will not be doing that. So I have like maybe 2 more weeks before it's long enough for me to cut. But God, it's hot. It's so fucking hot. Let's talk about which contacts we're using first. So I bought basically 1 contact for every color in the rainbow, which I know sounds like a lot, but they're very useful to have just on hand so I don't have to constantly order them and constantly pay for like shipping and everything. So I just bought all the ones that I thought I might need in the near future, which is literally 1 of every color. The ones that we're using today are just blue contacts. I know you can't see them through this, but I wrote it on the back. And you might be thinking, hey, your eyes are already blue. What the fuck? These ones are a very specific type of blue, and I bought them specifically for a cosplay where they're supposed to look like they're glowing. So I hope they look a little bit more pronounced than my eyes do on a daily basis. Now let's talk about the makeup look I want to do. I want to do a very like soft, pink, peachy, like nothing crazy, because I want to challenge myself to do something that is not fucking insane. So we're going to try and do something very natural, very easy for our first one. Let's get into it. I always put my contacts in first because A, I can wash my hands immediately and not have any makeup residue on them whatsoever. And B, any of the makeup that is on your eye can get inside your contact and then get into your eye. Colored contacts are already not really that safe in the first place. Even if you take care of them properly, you're not supposed to wear contacts over and over again. I try to do it as safely as I can. In my experience with contacts, I've had some that go in easier than others without eye drops. So we're going to test that first and see how easy they are to put in my eye. They are fairly small. It's not like they're scleras, so they should be at least on the easier side of things. I have to lean over my counter to do this. I can't do this on camera. If you hear me struggling, no, you don't. Oh, I think it was upside down. Oh shit. Definitely upside down. Oopsie. Without putting in any eye drops, that went straight into my eye and it didn't burn at all. You can see my eyes aren't even irritated. Like if I shift them around, it's not like there's any red rings anywhere, which is ideal to me. They feel very thin, which is lovely because I can get overstimulated by contacts that are a little bit too thick. My vision is pretty similar to what it normally is. I am going to put my other contact in before I fully say that though, because I have very little vision in my right eye. Let's see if the left eye is just as easy. That one is not going in as easy. It's not hurting at all, which again is such a win. And it does mean that my contact is clean, which is everything I need. This one is not going in anywhere near as easy as the first one did. So the vision is a little bit different than I thought it was. I'm definitely a little bit more tunnel vision now. It doesn't hurt by any means. They are pretty standard, I'd say. They are honestly particularly comfortable. I don't feel them in my eyes pretty much at all right now, which was expected. They are fairly opaque, and you can see that I've got the like White Walker blue eye stare now. Overall, expected. I don't think I could drive with these, to be honest with you, but I definitely could like walk around a con center and not hit anybody. Like it is a fair amount of vision. It's just not enough for me to feel like I could operate a motor vehicle in any capacity. Now that the contacts are in, let's try and do these eyebrows. I don't know if you've noticed, I shave the ends of my eyebrows, so doing natural looking ones is a little bit of a pain in the ass because it means that I have to draw on every single stroke, and I normally give up about halfway through. So we're gonna see how far we get before I give up. So I also have vision impairment in the first place. I am both nearsighted and farsighted. My eyes go like this, so trying to see little things when my eyes are being blurred as well is kind of difficult. I'm gonna put on my glasses after all of this and see how my vision is with my glasses on. But it is making it particularly hard to see if I've done strokes far enough down. Again, my instinct is to like make everything darker, but I think I'm gonna try and keep it where it is right now. This was my other fear, that this is like not gonna match on the opposite eye. Nightmare. We're gonna fix it, but that should be a good enough base for me to move on. I just washed all my brushes. They're so clean. I'm so excited. All right, I'm gonna clean up the brows with this Fenty foundation. I have not had to replace this. I use this basically every day. It is in shade 200, which basically just means that I'm as pale as possible. See if I can do straight brows. see how that goes. Probably not. Straight brows just like don't look normal on me, I don't think. Favorite trope that I look up literally all of the time. I love to see it in fanfic. I love to see it in actual full published stories. I am a hurt comfort girly until I die. There's just something so lovely and comforting about somebody going through something that's horrible and somebody reaching out to help them. There's nothing more intimate than that to me. I would give anything to read it in literally every single story, especially when in most cases when I read it, it's like one of the characters is going through something that is horrific, that just cannot be replicated, and they are trying to hide it. They're trying to like not make it a problem. They're trying not to let all of their friends know, whatever. And then whoever their love interest is like, I know something is wrong and you're going to be here with me until you tell me, but I refuse to leave you alone while you're hurting like this. There's something so incredible about that. Honestly, they're kind of thick, but I kind of want to keep them. I know, there's something really cute about them. I love an out of nowhere sacrifice. It's very, very hyper specific, I know, but an out of nowhere sacrifice that's not unnecessary, but just is like a way to save their friends from having to go through hell if they just like do it themselves. It normally comes in the way of like if a villain and a group of heroes are in a fight together, one of the heroes knows that they absolutely can complete it on their own. They'll just have to go through hell to do it, but it means that the other heroes in the party will not have to do it at all. They're like, oh yeah, any day of the week. And they just kind of do it without talking to anybody, inject it into my veins. I think I just love a self-sacrifice in general. It normally brings along a larger conversation of the rest of the party being like, you didn't have to do that. We care for you too. You don't have to be like this, which again is normally a part of a hurt comfort. It comes from a place of one of the characters believing that they are expendable in some variety. I think my camera is tilted. That's better. It normally comes from a place of one of the characters believing that they are expendable and none of the rest of the party believes that. And I just, oh, perfect, you know? The saying, don't be a hero is like a real thing. And to hear it in a fanfic with heroes is like, oh, everything to me, everything. I kind of like these brows. They're very different from what I normally do, I feel like. I'm gonna look at this later and be like, no, it's not. I like them though, they're fun. I'm really hoping that my microphone lives through this whole thing because one of my mic things is dying. I'm gonna go in with this Fenty concealer to set the base for the eyes. This is in shade 160. Ooh, this isn't really a trope so much as it just is a thing. I love a flower shop AU. I don't know, there's something so cute about like a flower shop tattoo AU or a flower shop in a coffee shop. One of them is a very soft character and the other one is a little bit more violent or a little bit more harsh presenting outwardly. There's something so refreshing about seeing that and it just being an open thing. It's also just very cute aesthetically, like very aesthetically pleasing for all intensive purposes of drawing and just like the idea of it. I'm gonna go in with this TMNT palette. We're gonna use this color up here at the top. I wish I hadn't gotten rid of the sleeve that came with this because I don't remember the names of any of those colors. There's also just something so wonderful about like somebody being very grungy, very, again, harsher presenting outwardly and them willingly going into a store that might ruin whatever social credit they have, whatever, and going to buy flowers or putting the flowers in their shop, their tattoo shop or their coffee shop. Oh, that's just wonderful. Going out of your comfort zone for somebody that you love, everything to me. Or just wanting to think about them and people around them can like notice and be like, you've never had flowers in your shop. Is there a reason you do now? And they're like, no, definitely not. I just wanted to set a base that was a little bit brighter before I moved on to all the pinks and stuff. I'm going to use this Constellation Sky palette and we're going to dip into this color. It's called Mood. I love palettes like this that have it written on the palette. Granted, I paid more money for that one, so I get it. Again, I want this whole thing to be like a soft pink, like a pink peach kind of thing. A red and a blue character. No, I will not elaborate. I love when a fanfic makes a comedic relief character just the saddest person ever. It just gives them a little bit more depth than a show normally allows them to have. It's so nice to see it because it's like one person can't be that happy all the time. You know, like that's just not human. Seeing them be more human in a fanfic does make me a little bit happy, even if it makes them a little bit sad. I'm gonna take Mood and Noru and mix them together. I have to be pronouncing that wrong. That can't be right. Just to give a little bit more of the like peachy tone without taking away too much of the pink. I love Fix It Fix, which is normally when a character gets injured in some way and they either run to person B and are like, I need help. I need you to fix whatever is wrong with me. Or person B finds them and is like, hey, you're like bleeding a ton, right? And they're like, yeah, I like don't want to talk about it. And they're like, that's crazy. I'm coming in. It's just wonderful, especially when it's that person A got into a fight with somebody over person B. Ooh, good shit. Ooh, good shit. When protective is actually protective and is not just like a showboating of whatever immaculate strength you have. I want it to have a little bit more depth, but I don't want to make it too dark because I'm scared that I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this and I'm going to do it very lightly, but I'm going to take this color called Orbit and we're going to put it in the corner and that's it. There is a different word for this than I think I can say on YouTube, but superheroes finding out each other's identities. Any version of it where they're like trying to hide it, but they still have to be in like an emergency situation. A Superbat fanfic where Clark has to go and interview Bruce Wayne and he's been working with Batman this whole time and he's like, whatever, I just want to get this done and then I can go home. And he gets there and he's like, hey, your heartbeat matches a whole lot. And he's just like trying to figure it out, but Bruce is like not letting up because he doesn't know that Clark is Superman. Everything to me, everything. Normally it has to give a massive display of how well they know each other, which is obviously very intimate and I would tattoo it onto my eyelids if I could. So I'm gonna use this Fenty foundation again. Brief check-in with the contacts. They're fairly comfortable. I'm a little bit more aware of them now than I was when I first put them in. They're not burning by any means, but they don't feel as comfortable as when I started. So it might have just been that my eyes were wet from the saline solution, but it's not like I can feel, when your contacts are like too dry, you can feel the edges of them. I'm not at that stage. Like that's not what's going on, but it just is like, there's very much an awareness that I have a contact in my eye at this moment. I'm gonna go ahead and use this Fenty concealer again under the eyes just to make sure everything is bright as hell. I really enjoy when characters in a fanfic think that they're being incredible at hiding their relationship from their friends, and their friends are like, you guys are stupid as fuck, are you serious? Like, we've known for months. We knew before you knew that you were dating. Especially we knew before you knew. They're like, yeah, you've been dating since September, right? And they're like, we started dating at Christmas. What are you talking about? And they're like, didn't seem like it. That's good as fuck. Because they're like, oh, I guess we should have been dating for longer. And then they get embarrassed when they're like, yeah, actually, just so you guys know, we have been together. And everybody's like, yeah, no shit, girl. Did you have actual news? I'm going to use the Sephora contour and just kind of do all over my face. Grumpy X Sunshine, but also Grumpy X Grumpy. A Grumpy X Sunshine is good, obviously, because everybody's like, the juxtaposition, don't super get how you two are together. And they're like, what do you mean? Love that, obviously. However, I raise you. We're mean and evil together. Thoughts. I'm gonna use that mix of Mood and Noru again, but for my blush and see how it goes. Hopefully I don't fuck it all up, but you know, who cares, right? I think that's cute. And I'm gonna do it over the bridge of my nose. A well-written who did this to you. I don't know how to describe it, but when it isn't written like some weird mafia boss thing, like actual CEO and YN, like when it's not written like that, oh, it's so good. I don't even need it to be like enemies to lovers, but the level of like very sudden, intense caring about something when they did not previously care about this person, this is gonna get toned down. Okay, everybody chill. Like, let's say academic rivals, right? They're constantly butting heads and they are in the library together at the same time studying whatever. They're on like opposite sides, but they see each other every day. And very randomly, one of them comes in and has like a massive bruise on their face. And the other person comes up and is like, hey, what the fuck happened? Who did this to you? And they're like, oh, like, don't worry about it. I just got some people who are like assholes to me. Like, they just suck. That's just a part of my life. And the other person is like, oh, bet. And then the next day, the people who beat up person B are like in the trenches with how like fatally they have been beaten. That shit's good to me. I don't know. There's something good about it being like a quiet, I'm going to help you, and like not shoving it in your face that they're helping. There's something so good about that. And when it's like, again, unexpected, nobody was aware that they were going to put themselves in potential danger in some regard. Just good shit, you know? I'm just kind of tapping this in because I didn't like how far up the blush went, but I don't want to go too far back down, which it looks like I just did. So that's really cool. I'm really glad I did that to myself. I'm gonna tap it down a little bit with this beauty blender because it is a little bright. Just a little bit too bright for me. I think that is much better than what it started as. I'm gonna use a little bit of this About Face liquid eyeshadow. I think it's actually called a liquid eye paint or something. I'm gonna put literally a dot here just to brighten that part of my eye. And we're gonna tap it out the same way with that brush. Now that all of that is done, I can finally powder my face. Holy shit. Okay, so this is a trope of fanfics, but not like of a specific genre. I love an insane author's note. That shit is so funny to me. Hey guys, sorry I couldn't update this week. My dog got ran over by my mom after I got a B on my grades. Hey, what the fuck are you talking about? Sorry guys for the late update. I was actually on my murder trial. What? What are you talking about? There was one that I saw the other day that was like, hey guys, sorry, I was literally in court for something that I can't talk about because the trial isn't over yet. Hey, why are you putting this in an author's note? I'm gonna use this ColourPop shadow stick to tightline my eyes really quick. And then I'm going in with this About Face liquid shimmer in the corner of my eye. Give it a little bit of glitter, just a little bit. A songfic is probably the greatest gift because I love listening to music at the same time as reading. I find it to be very soothing. I think it's the easiest way to relax. So when you give me the song and I don't even have to search for it and it fits perfectly with whatever you're reading, obviously you can't know whether this is going to happen or not, but ones that you read at the same pace that the author was intending, it's cool to feel like you're connected to every person who's ever read the same thing. It's just such a nice feeling besides the fact that it just is a really good way to give ambiance. I'm trying to decide if I want lashes or not. I think I like have to. I'm gonna do my mascara first though, just in case. I just want mascara. This is very heated rivalry, but when they're like public enemies to lovers, not public enemies to lovers, but public enemies and they are in love with each other, whether they're actually together yet or not, when one of them gets hurt and they are calling for the other person, I am so into that. Like again, in heated rivalry, when Shane gets hurt and he's like, tell Ilya I'm okay. And Ilya is trying really hard not to break their cover by being like so fucking concerned that he's hurt. I live for that shit, especially when it's like when they have to keep it a secret and one of them breaks because they cannot bear to not go see that person in the hospital. Like, yes, I am willing to risk everything just to make sure that you are okay because I can't live if you are not. Lovely. Perfect, stunning. Give me 50 of them by Friday. I have not read one of these in forever. It feels like we're losing the ancient text a little bit, but a Nerdex Jock, when they keep trying to kiss each other as like their first kiss and they just keep getting interrupted, it just builds like a sense of yearning through the entire fic. And obviously the point is that at the end they end up kissing. The tension that gets built from it is normally such a good payoff. It's like the fastest version of a slow burn normally. I love a one shot. I know slow burns and everything and like long fics are everybody's favorite. I love a one shot that is just like in, out, we're done. Especially if it's a long one shot. I have a long thing to read, but it's something that I could reasonably finish within like 1 or 2 days. Incredible. Yeah, I definitely need lashes for this. It's good that I have some here because there are some times where I'm like, I guess I do need lashes, then I have none. There's 2 versions of this one that I like, okay? I love when one has been pining for years. Person A has been pining for like the entire time they've known person B, right? And person B is just like totally fucking oblivious. Like they have absolutely no clue that person A is into them. That's the first one that I like, okay? That's part 1, because there's just something so funny about a person that you spend so much time with, that you are so deeply in love with them, and they have absolutely no clue, not because they don't love you too, but because they're just fucking stupid. I'm gonna put this in the center and try to like pat it out. We'll see how it goes. Might not go great. The other version of that I just absolutely adore is person A is like, I need to ask them out. I've been waiting to do it for years. Like I am so in love with them. I just need to do it. And they go to ask person B and person B is like, we aren't dating? I thought we had been dating for years personally. And they're like, well, yes, of course, because I already thought this was a thing. Thank you for asking. I don't know, there's something so stupid about that of like, I thought we had been dating for a couple of months now because we've spent every single day together. So I thought we knew we were together, but I guess I didn't ask. You're so right. Like I love something about that. That's just so funny to me. It's like the only version of miscommunication that I'm perfectly fine with. Second to last step, promise. I'm using this Fenty highlight. I forget what shade this is. How many carrots? Obviously, one that everybody loves. Forced proximity. A hotel room that only has one bed on a business trip. A janitor's closet that won't quite open after you've both been stuck in it trying to get the same item. A group of friends who have locked you together until you can stop fighting when you haven't been fighting at all. You've just been incredibly jealous of each other. I love an artist ex popular. The popular person looking over the artist's shoulder and being like, have you been drawing me? And they're like, no, of course not. And their whole sketchbook is like full of that person. And last, but certainly not least, because I love seeing it in every fic I read, jealousy in any form. There's just something so good about like the idea of them being like, I have no right to be jealous because we're not together. And the other person is like, you're kind of sort of right, but like we could be. And they're like, oh, well, yes, of course. Well, yes, why would I turn that down? This shirt is not right. I'm gonna go change my shirt really quick. Hold on. I'm wearing a shirt, I promise, if you can't see it. I don't know if you can. You kind of can. I'm wearing a shirt, I promise. I think this is so cute. It took so much longer than I anticipated. I was anticipating that since it was such an easy eye look that, you know, maybe it wouldn't take fully an hour, but I think that took an hour and a half, which is probably the longest my makeup's taken in a long time. Granted, there's a couple things that come with that, right? First of all, I had to put the contacts in. That took absolutely... The first eye took no time at all. The second eye took like 2 or 3 minutes. And the eyebrows were really hard because I can't tell if, even now I can't tell if they like turned out well. These contacts are super comfortable. I will say I do think you would need eye drops and you would need somebody else to drive you to where you're going. At the very least for my eyes, there's definitely a ring of blue around everything that's making everything a little bit blurry, but they aren't bad enough to where you wouldn't be able to like read or anything. Maybe I should go grab my glasses. Let me grab my glasses. I'll be back. In grabbing my glasses, you definitely would be able to read with these and you would be able to like see everything around you if you have just like regular vision. It just is really not a good idea to drive with these, I don't think. There are many contacts that you can drive with and that you won't even be able to see. It just is not a good idea with these. There's too much of my peripheral that's gone, I think. But again, they are so, so comfortable. I do think you would bring eye drops with you. Even now I can feel them drying out a little bit. And I've put a ton of makeup on and I've done a bunch of stuff. And even with all of that, they're not dry enough to where I feel like I need to reach for my eye drops yet. I solidly would give these like 4 out of 5. If I could drive with these in, these would be pretty much a 4.5. The dryness is already starting to hit though, and it's only been an hour and a half. I typically like for my contacts to take like 3-ish hours to get dry. I'm a little touch and go on that, but I would say these are solidly a 4 out of 5 out of all the contacts I've ever worn. And they're so pretty. I don't know. I know that a lot of people hate the like blue-eyed stare thing. I don't know. They're kind of fun. I encourage you to go outside of your realm of comfort today with whatever you are doing, whether it be your makeup or your fan fiction and things that you just want to see a new tag. Be careful with that, but go outside of your comfort zone. I love you.